It's the Jack and Nick Horror Show.
Hello? Nick?
Yeah, I'm sighing.
I'm going to sigh too.
Great. Sighs of relief, but also worry and torment. Welcome to the future. It's 2017. That's what life is like.
That's true. What, do you think that somebody from the past is listening to our show now?
Oh, that'd be interesting. Not possible. But, hi, listeners.
This is that
wait.
Jack and Nick Horror Show.
Yeah, but didn't we give everybody a name? The Horror Show Society.
Oh, stop
Hi,
it.
Horror Show Society.
Stop. No, we're not going that route.
So it's been almost like a month since we recorded, maybe, because, we were like, oh, yeah, we're going to get all consistent and do stuff more often. And then, life
happens, and then I get broken, and I can't walk, and I can't even walk up my steps to record a show.
Right. There's that.
I'm serious. I really
part.
couldn't walk up my steps to record a show.
Right. Physical therapy. It costs money.
It does.
People look it up.
It's true.
How many broken bones between the two of us? Doctors say none.
I don't have broken bone. I have, they said, ruptured ligaments and a tendon. My Achilles tendon. So.
Dude, I know I said between the two of us, but I was not wishing pain on myself when I said that. Please, gods of this universe, do not break me.
The people that just tuned into our show are like, what is this, fucking medical
I know.
show or whatever? I don't. Sorry,
so tonight,
we're not going to be up on ad-libbing tonight, sorry.
No. So tonight we're watching a horror movie, or we watched a horror movie and we're going to talk about it. It's called Death Note. And I watched it a week ago, and in the week since I watched it, since it came out on Netflix, I feel like maybe a million things have happened in the horror world. So I feel like Death Note is old news, but we're talking about it tonight, finally.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Why not? Because...
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
If we were a timely cast, we'd talk about it, the movie. But we both are in situations where we couldn't see it. Isn't that cool?
Yep, couldn't see it. No access to vehicle. Whole bunch of stuff.
Dude, I feel like we're both like complaining about life, but it's like, well, we aren't stuck in a hurricane or a flood tonight, so that's cool.
Give it time.
Yeah, I mean, that Jose one is coming like north, dude. That could hit either of us in our PA or NJ homes. So there could be bad times ahead. Everybody cross your fingers for everyone, all humans in America and the world.
How about we talk about Death Note?
Go.
Light Turner, a bright student, stumbles across a mystical notebook that has the power to kill any person whose name he writes in it. Light decides to launch a secret crusade to rid the streets of criminals. Soon, the student turned vigilante finds himself pursued by a famous detective known only by the alias L.
Now, of course, Death Note was a big...
Sorry.
It was a big anime first.
It was, yes. This is Death Note 2017, written and directed by one Adam Wingard, and screenplay as well by Charlie Parlapanad, whatever. I don't know you, Charlie, or your brother Vlas, but you guys wrote this.
Vlas,
I don't know. And you watch, like, next year there'll be, like, big-time screenwriters, and everybody like, oh, yeah, Charlie and Vlas, you know,
right.
Those
Writing
guys.
The Matrix 4.
So, Nick, the burning question, the burning thing about Death Note that's out in the masses right now is sort of the thing that I've always complained about when people latch on to something so much that they give death threats to a director over a movie.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that in a moment, I'm sure, but I want to know, just so people listening, if you're new to this show and you want to get angry at us for liking Death Note or not liking Death Note, just keep in mind that these are movies, and this shit doesn't matter. It's like when you play a video game, it's over. Does your life change? Not really. It was a fun time. You know? So
Right, absolutely.
it's,
And
it can... Okay, go ahead.
well, no, I was going to say I never saw the original anime, so I don't have the level of attachment to it
Neither
that
have
people
I.
do.
And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I
keep talking over you. I apologize.
No, it's all right. I did see the Fandango events of Death Note, the live-action version of it. I saw the trailers before movies, and I'm like, that looks fucking stupid. So
you mean the Japanese one?
Yeah, the Japanese one. Yeah,
Japanese. Yeah, because this was first it was a manga, then it was an anime, or maybe it was the other way around. Then it was a Japanese version of the movie, and this is the Americanization adaptation. How
dare America do anything?
Right.
That's Japanese oriented. Oh.
It's so weird because there's so many controversies that surround this, because first people were pissed off that it was being Americanized and therefore, in quotes, whitewashed, when in fact it wasn't being whitewashed. It was an American adaptation of a movie that already existed in Japan. This has happened like a million times over. They didn't have to go and like use Asian characters speaking English, which actually would have been, in a way, kind of whitewashing even more so. Like the people who were first complaining about that, I don't think that they actually knew that there was a Japanese version of the movie, right?
Right.
And then it's like the people who like the anime or the manga say that this is not a genuine representation in terms of the way it was adapted, which I also understand to an extent, because I hate it when the things I love get turned into like garbage movies or TV shows like World War Z. Remember how much I hated World War Z?
I was going to mention that, yeah.
Right. And what was the other one? Oh, Preacher. I love Preacher. I couldn't make it 5 minutes through the first episode of the TV show. And now I saw a commercial for it that actually kind of looked like it might be good, but like my hatred for it is so strong. And I never threatened anyone with death over it.
Right. That's the difference between you and certain people, where if you don't like something, or you don't like the fact that somebody's making something that you hold dear, don't be a jerk off and start raising hell, like, you know, going on Twitter and saying you're a fucking douchebag, and don't threaten a guy that you're gonna kill him. Because
dude, it's just changed so much over the years, man. Because it used to be like, seriously, I feel like when we used to do Slasher Cast and we would like rant and rave at a movie we hated, 5 or 6 years on, that is completely unattractive to me, only because like the culture of ranting and raving has gone from like goofy guys who have no right to even rant and rave, ranting and raving way too much, and like kind of making a joke out of it, into people threaten people with death now if they don't like it. And you know, not real death. I know it's not real death, but I mean, even still, so, yeah, it's heavy.
It's people are just way too passionate about stupid shit. Like, I'm not gonna get political. I don't care about politics, but people these days, and we're gonna get to Death Note and stuff in a moment too, but people these days see, they just seem to get so upset about meaningless shit in movies. And oh my god, you know what today is? The Monster Squad was released on video this day. Celebrate. Come on. Like, I know. Guys, like, there's other shit out there, like your family, your friends, the world, volunteering for things, politics. You could get all up in an uproar about politics, but if you actually know what the fuck's going on in the world, instead of what's going on in Fantasyland, then things might be a little bit better. That's all I'm going to say about it. And when you do things like, you know, you can complain all you want about whatever. You can say this movie was a turd sandwich, and people go, okay, that's it. It's dropped. It's done. You can't start a crusade about how much you don't like a movie because everybody else shouldn't like it because it has Americans in it.
Right, or like, or just anything else, man. I feel like that's like why so much of this show, what we do on here on the Jack and Nick Horror Show, is focusing on the movies that we feel somewhat positive about, as you may have guessed by the past 20 or so episodes we've done. Not bi-weekly. I don't want to say bi-weekly or weekly or monthly or reliably, but when we do episodes on the occasions that we choose to do them, it's normally a movie we feel positive about, which brings me back to Death Note.
Death Note, yes.
Now, we should also mention we are total fanboys for Adam Wingard.
We are. And, well, to an extent. We both really enjoyed You're Next.
No, he loved it. I loved it.
I loved it too, yes. Horrible Way to Die, I've only seen and I like it.
Never saw.
It's not mind-blowing, but it's a good... His first movie, what the hell is it? The one with Bill Moseley? I can't remember.
Kill Party? Murder Party?
No. It was close. It has the same tone, but not...
How to Die something?
Homesick.
Death is a sales... There we go.
Homesick. And I didn't see his other one, the pill thing or whatever. But Homesick was okay. The freaking... That thing where he was the photographer was balls.
Oh, he didn't direct that one.
No, but he was in it, and that's enough.
Yeah.
Not that he sucked or anything. It's
movies
VHS
he acted
2, in. He directed VHS, and then the wraparound of VHS, and then the segment in which he stars in VHS 2. That was his segment, which is serviceable. It's not the best of the series. And as well as Blair Witch, the newer Blair Witch, which I like, but not.
I did not.
No, you didn't. And The Guest, which is fucking excellent movie.
Right.
Excellent. So the guy, and keep in mind, Adam Wingard wants to step away from horror and start making like action movies or thrillers.
Yeah, he's doing King Kong versus Godzilla next.
Yeah, that's a pretty big fucking deal, and people are probably going to complain about that too.
Oh, yeah.
Much like they are now. Nick, before we go into Death Note 2, I want to mention, speaking of King Kong and Adam Wingard, did you notice that... Oh, no, you refused to watch King Kong. But
that's right.
You know about the CinemaSins thing, and then he did the director of Kong Skull Island went off on CinemaSins.
Yeah, this was on Twitter. He went into full-on rant thread against, like, basically, and I totally agree with some of the stuff that he was saying, that, like, a lot of things, if you ever seen CinemaSins on YouTube, or if you haven't, go and watch it, and if you have, you already know what I'm talking about. Some of their videos will be funny when they go after a bad movie and they list every sin in a bad movie. It's funny. But when you go after even just like middle of the road to great movies and are like, this shot is stupid, like, dude, you're not a filmmaker. You're just some guy coming up with reasons why it's it basically makes people, and this is so true of like everything, because you see this with wrestling, you see this with comic books, you see this with TV or movies. The more people know about like the backstage goings on, or like the process of making a movie, making a wrestling match, making a comic book, it makes them think that they're smarter than the people fucking doing it. And you're not. Just because you could make jokes about it doesn't make you a better director.
Right.
And there are a lot of people who are just like, who will just do that sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yep. That's the newest thing. It's another one that becomes your job, where you just sit there and make fun of people's work to make money for yourself. And whoever did it first has succeeded. The guy who does Honest Trailers, he's the director of The Janitor, the old, well, not old, but the movie was made in the 90s, and it exists. He's from Philadelphia, actually, and I enjoyed The Janitor. Not knocking it. It's a crappy movie, but he succeeded because he jumped onto this thing. And and the funny thing is that they actually did a Kong Skull Island one, where the director of Kong Skull Island was in it, making fun of the movie himself and pointing out the actual problems of the movie.
Really?
Which is funny, yeah. I mean, Now, the reason I bring this up, so the director of Kong did this, Adam Wingard, on Twitter called out the trolls that he's been getting on Twitter.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that.
You know what they both have in common?
What's that?
Shea Wiggum, who played the father in Death Note, he is also in Kong Skull Island. So I'm seeing,
really?
I'm seeing some kind of. I'm wondering.
My God.
I'm wondering if there's a connection there. I really.
See, and dude, it was different when it was like MST3K making fun of movies, because it's like those movies are like charmingly awful, and if you make fun of it, it's totally a different situation than
and a
just
lot of the
making fun
makers
of
of
like
those movies actually love MST3K's version of them.
Yeah.
They actually get off on it, not in a sexual way, but they are very happy to hear MST3K rip their movie, except for Joe Don Baker with Mitchell, but that's another time.
Mitchell's like the best one.
Oh, nice.
Anyway.
But all they do is make fun of how fat and out of shape he is. So, what did you think of Death Note?
Now, having not been a fan of the anime, I saw like one episode of it. Having not cared about the manga and not caring about the original version in Japan, I enjoyed this movie enough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's direct to Netflix, which is kind of, I almost feel like that's a step above direct to video stuff, right? Like, this is almost a step above it. You're direct to Netflix. People are going to watch that. And I enjoyed it. I mean, I wouldn't like super recommend it to everyone because I think it's kind of a weird movie. But the movie kind of revels at being like weird and escalating its weirdness and craziness right off the bat. And I like that sort of thing. The effects were kind of cool. If there's one thing that came over from the anime and manga that looks like spot on, it's the guy whose name I'm forgetting, Raikou?
Who, L?
No, the monster dude.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Oh my God, I have to look up his name because I actually forgot the name of the monster.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna get death threats.
Oh my God, I'm gonna get death threats. Ryuk. I'm sorry. Totally sorry. I said Raikou. I've switched some letters. But yeah, I thought it looked great, and I thought that it was cool. I appreciated how ridiculously gory the movie got at times.
Yeah.
I felt like this movie was almost like the type of movie that would have come out like 15 to 20 years ago and nobody in the world would have had a problem with. And I don't know, stylistically it was cool. Lots of like running down a neon hallway scenes and stuff. So I enjoyed it. I didn't super love it. I don't think it's going to be in my top 5 at the end of the year, but I enjoyed it. You like it too?
I feel the same way. Yeah. I threw it on and I'm like, God damn it, it's over an hour and 40 minutes. Ugh.
Oh, yeah, the same. Dude, at first I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm going to like this one. It's like every movie, when we get to catch up later in the show, I'm going to tell you, like, every movie I've been watching is like 80 minutes long.
Yeah.
And that's the new sweet spot for me. And I'm turning into a bitch. That's my problem.
I'm the same way. I like, when I was all holed up and stuff, I watched some stuff, I'll mention it, but man, when it comes to like a 2-hour movie anymore, I'm like, God damn it. But you know what's funny? And it happens to all of us. We end up watching like multiple TV shows in a row, and that's not a problem. That equates to over 3.5 hours. So I don't know what the problem is. It's not an attention span thing, I don't think. But
I don't know. It's just the way we're being trained by media.
But I think that, Death Note was really enjoyable. It's not groundbreaking or anything, but I think that it's a very well-filmed movie. You can tell that Adam Wingard did film some of this with some of his isms in it. I'm not going to mention them necessarily because it can spoil 2 movies for you. You know what I'm talking about. It has to do with music choices at specific moments. So it moved at a rapid pace. I know they said they cut a lot out because they had to fit it into an hour and 40 minutes. No kidding. If you got an hour and 40-minute movie, you're going to, condense it. I just think that nerds are getting out of control. They've now become the... I think that nerds have become the football bullies.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of bullying in a lot of the call out culture is like based on like just bullying people. It's
You
like
know,
people get off on it. You're right. They really just get off on being the one who can go, well, I might be a loser, but that guy is racist making movies
but
without Asian people in, that sort of thing.
and I don't think it's the OG nerds, to be honest with you. I think that it is, well, some of them, get the fire under their ass to start bitching about stuff, but I think that there are. It would make a good topic one day, Nick, to have what annoys you more, posers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Posers or elitists? Which one is the more annoying part of the group? Because I think that a lot of these quote unquote nerds are posers that used to be the, macho guys in high school, and now all of a sudden the nerd culture is cool. They're nerd guys and nerd girls. You know what I mean? And then they latch onto it, and then they put out their venom into the world until it's not cool. Then they'll go back to their whatever's cool next.
Right.
I think that has a lot to do with it too. So don't get me wrong, anybody that gets offended by what I say. I'm not saying it to back out. I'm just saying that I see it a lot more now, not necessarily just because of social media, but I see it a lot more than ever. Like it's really bad, and it's with everything. It's not just this crap that we watch. It's everything. But besides that, I was really happy that, speaking of that dude Shea Wiggum, I was really happy to see him in this movie because the guy is really fucking good actor.
Yeah, dude, I was trying to look and see like what else he's been in because he's so familiar. When I was watching the movie, I was going through the IMDb because I was like, this guy's in something, isn't he? He's got to be in something. And he's in everything, but never in a big part. He's that guy.
Yep.
And he was totally I mean, and I think the whole cast was really perfectly like cast. That's like one thing that maybe this movie gets overlooked for because of all the bitching about it. But I think that he's just perfect for that sort of like angry dude. No, not angry
rough
but like
dad.
Yeah, he's kind of grizzled, but still a caring dad. You know what I mean?
He's kind of a badass. Like
right.
In Kong, he's a badass. Yeah, I know you're not going to watch Kong. Did you notice that who L was, by the way?
I don't know what you mean by notice. Like, what else was he?
He was in Get Out.
Oh yeah, that obviously, yes.
Yeah.
That wasn't so much a notice thing. That was more of a recognition thing.
Oh yes, okay, sorry.
I was like, was he a small part in something I saw somewhere? No, he was actually a big part, or a semi-big part in Get Out. Yeah, and he's totally different here, which is cool. Mm-hmm. And I actually thought his character of L was the most. His character felt like one of the most anime-like characters in my opinion. And I mean, it was obvious that was meant to be that way, but I feel like, and again, I never saw the original Death Note anime. I've seen enough anime to say that somebody feels like they walked out of an anime. And like, there's so many ridiculous parts with L that in a normal movie, like if this was a police procedural and they were just like letting some dude walk up and take over the police investigation because he might have a clue about this god of death who's killing people. I'm sorry, we haven't really described the movie too much.
Sorry, there's a lot of things that
I know. We're talking about like the meat and potatoes without actually mixing the meat and potatoes or talking about the recipe. But basically in the movie Death Note, high school kid finds a notebook that this demon who also shows up tells him that if you write anybody's name in the Death Note and how they'll die, then they'll die. And from there, hijinks ensues. That's like all you need to know about the plot at all. That's all you need to know, right?
And things get worse. They don't just get,
Oh yeah, they just keep getting worse and keep getting worse. And then this one dude named L shows up, and he's been tracking all these weird random deaths that have been happening around the world because the Death Note thing gets way out of control way quick.
Yeah.
And it's so good. It's so good that it's like so insane. The movie's just like goes nuts in a way that like you would watch another movie if this, like, a lot of people are like, oh, this is a typical Hollywood movie, blah blah blah. Dude, if this was a Hollywood movie, this would be dialed back. And like there would be like 7 deaths in the whole movie, but this movie has like literally thousands of deaths.
That's a lot.
Oh my god. And like in a regular movie, they would look at the script and say, no, this needs to be dialed back. We're just killing the 7 kids on screen here. We're making a summer slasher movie. It would be Final Destination,
right,
but with a book that controls it.
And this movie kind of feels like Final Destination.
It does feel like it, but like way crazier.
More controlled.
Man. Yeah, so it's a fun movie. I actually wanted to watch it again after I saw it. I was like, you know what, that's a movie that I need to revisit sometime and get a better hold on now that I kind of like knew everything about it. And it even made me want to see the original anime so that I can actually compare it and see if the bitching was warranted. Of course, I've had no time to do it in the past week.
And that's the thing. Like, I'm pretty sure that this more than likely doesn't hold a candle to whatever original, anime, blah, manga, whatever the fuck. And people are like, oh my god, he's just discounting it. No. What I'm saying is, that stuff is probably better than the movie that we're talking about right now. But it's okay, because one thing you guys aren't thinking of, and girls, I'm not going to be sexist, is when something like this comes out, it makes people want to seek out where it came from.
Right.
They don't just say, well, this is the only one. They'll say, well, I want more of this, if they enjoyed it. So they go, well, since you enjoyed this, maybe you should watch the original. And then people might like the original more, become a huge anime fan, and that opens up the world to get more anime. Think about the positivity of things once in a while. Might help. And
yeah, dude, like manga and anime do not generally translate to screen well, at all. Like,
no.
You look at like the Dragon Ball Z live action movie that came out that is like hilariously
What's
hilarious.
the one that Shyamalan did?
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
And I mean, when it does translate well, it's something where like the source material was kind of simple and fun in its own right. Like Old Boy was a manga first, and I've read the manga, and it was not the same as the movie. In fact, my favorite ever manga to movie was an American one with Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and there's a lot of reasons why it's so good. But I mean, both are very good at what they do, and both handle things very differently.
Yep.
And it's the same here. Like, there are things that are conventions, both in manga, anime, whatever, and Japanese culture and Japanese just traditions and different things that would not translate to an American version whatsoever,
Right.
And things need to be changed if you're going to be playing the mass market of Netflix, Again, I'm a hypocrite because I'm making this argument, but at the same time, when you make that argument with Preacher, I'd be like, fuck off, Actually, I could totally make the argument that Preacher doesn't hold enough to the books, and it needs to be more like the books, because you know what? Crazy TV shows that are bloody and gory work. Right. And you could have that. It could have worked on Netflix. It could have worked on HBO. Why'd you have to go to AMC? Anyway, I'm done complaining about Preacher.
No, it's okay. I mean, anybody can complain about whatever they want because, it matters to the individual. But when it comes to acting like a total dick about it to people, then that's when it becomes a problem.
I mean, you want to talk about whitewashing? They took a white Southern American character in Jesse Custer in Preacher, and they cast him with a British dude who's a foot shorter than he should be. And like that was the moment that I was like, I am not going to like this show. Not that I have any problem with British people playing American people, except for in the case
about
where
95% of the actors now,
Yeah, I
and
know.
nobody notices that. But,
well, you got to kind of accept it at some point. But I felt like this was a role that like could have easily been played by someone who was more convincingly Southern than Dominic Cooper. And I like Dominic Cooper, but not as Jesse Custer. It makes no sense. Now I'm complaining about Preacher a lot, aren't I?
You are.
But he's a wuss. I look like I could take him. I don't want to feel like I could take Jesse Custer. And in fact, I know I could take him because he's like 5'4", and I could just pick him up and throw him like a bag of beans. But back to Death Note. Death Note. Still an enjoyable movie, and there's so many like plot twists and turns that I think that the less you know about it when you watch it, it makes it better, because it's like it just felt so unpredictable when I watched the movie.
Yeah,
like I really couldn't have predicted that like the craziness that would ensue in it was going to ensue in the manner it did. And if anybody watches this movie and then goes, "Oh, it was so predictable," punch them. They're lying.
They are a liar, yes.
So, man, so what else would you like to say about the movie Death Note?
I thought it was well made, well crafted, and it was very colorful and cool looking too. There you have it.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. It's good. It's enjoyable. I mean, listen, Netflix has really deep pockets right now, and they're giving money to people to make movies, and that's a good thing. So let them do this stuff, you know? I mean, case in point, we'll get to it later. I don't want to mention other movies right now. Okay.
Well, I'm just flipping through on IMDb as we're talking through the picture gallery that they have up there. And this movie is just so beautiful. Like a neon, gorgeous, awesome. And I mean, like, so many of the shots in the movie work as just these single screenshots that it makes me want to watch it again, like right now. And I mean, again, I didn't love it, but I thought it was really compelling and fun. I just had fun watching it. And I think it's so hard to sit back and say I watched a movie and had fun watching a horror movie, you know, especially with like when we get to catch up later, I will talk about a bunch of them that I did not have fun with.
Right.
But I'm telling you as a public service, I put my eyeballs on these movies for you, the people.
Here's one more analogy before we wrap this up. Let's say you tell a joke, and you think it's the funniest joke in the world, and it is. It slays the room. Then somebody from that room takes that same joke, tells it to somebody else who knows you and a whole bunch of other people, and they kind of don't tell it the same way. And some people chuckle here and there, but most people didn't like it. Does that ruin the joke? No. The joke is still yours from the original joke that you made. Therefore, it's funny in this place. You have a comedian in one place. He tells jokes. People laugh. He tells the same jokes in another place. They don't laugh. This is how things work out.
Shit happens. Derivative adaptations, kids. So let's play a game, Jack.
What game do you want to play?
The game we sometimes play on this show called Amazon All-Stars.
Oh, thank God. Whew. Okay, let's do that.
Amazon All-Stars.
Amazon All-Stars is a segment where normally we take a classic horror movie or maybe a new horror movie, and we go and look on Amazon underneath the DVD listing and get all the one-star reviews and read them ridiculously. But this movie's not on Amazon because it's a Netflix exclusive, so all these reviews come to us from the hellhole known as IMDb.com, the Internet Movie Database. You know what it is because you've seen a movie and looked it up online, and that's the website that you go to. So there's this fun setting where you could just filter all the reviews to those that hated it, and then like the address bar just says filter equals hate. Gotta like that. So
do you know how many reviews in total there are on this?
665 reviews in total. I got 666
on mine.
Oh, you got in just in time. Nice. Good job. Internet high five. So, the first one is from Antonio Calcono from Venezuela. He wrote, "An insult to the original Death Note, Desu Noto. I have never felt compelled to write any reviews, but I feel that I need to say something for this movie. I normally like Netflix TV shows, but movies lately have been really sub-space par, with this one being one of the worst from them I've seen. This is a total waste of time, and movies should never have been made. It's an insult to the original Death Note, Desu Noto. The plot was totally ruined since it was changed from the original. Yeah, they kept the premise and decided it was a good idea to mix it up with stupid team drama, relationship, and a bunch of other nonsensical BS. Go watch Desu Noto instead. If you, I guess it's Desu Noto. I don't know. I don't care if you haven't, and if you should have, watch it again. Nonsensical BS he complains about in a movie where the entire premise is that you can write in a book and kill someone. Like, dude, you're not allowed to complain about nonsensical BS when that's the premise.
That sounds very Noto.
Who's next?
Ronald Reagan. Right? Ronald Reynolds. That's very hard name
From
to
the
say.
United States.
From the United States. And he says, I don't know where to begin with this. It is rare that an anime adaptation ever turns out to be good, so I didn't go into this movie with high expectations. Having seen the anime twice now, I was completely underwhelmed and disappointed throughout the whole movie. The characters in this movie had little to no similarities to their originals. There's honestly way too many things for me to say about this that I simply just don't have the time to do. I tried to watch this movie. Okay, so he didn't have time to do, but he had time to put it in IMDb.
That's the way it goes.
Okay, whatever. Next.
Dude, yeah, he's also like, I almost was a fair review at first that he just didn't connect to the characters. He was disappointed with it. But then as soon as he's like, it doesn't compare to the originals, it's like, dude, you invalidate your argument. I don't care. No one cares about the original. More people will see this movie than see the original Death Note. And you know what? If they saw the original Death Note, they would have hated that too. You know why? Because people don't like anime. So
That's
anyway.
true.
Next, from Sebastian Groseth Brewer from Norway. He's a Nord. Absolute garbage and typical Hollywood adaptation.
Goddamn Hollywood.
Damn you, Hollywood. Yes, because Adam Wingard and Netflix, that's typical. I don't care how to say his name. Anyway, first time writing a review here. I had to do it now because I don't want people like me who enjoyed the original anime manga to waste their time on this movie. Man, here we go again. Firstly, I don't know this. I didn't know this was a movie until it was released on Netflix. Well, thanks. It's a Netflix movie. I'm not going into detail here, but there is a reason it's a long manga anime and not a movie. Thanks. Anyway, the protagonist isn't interesting. L is not interesting. The plot is garbage. They took all the good things from the original and they butchered it and made another bad American adaptation. Everyone involved in this movie should be ashamed. Save yourself the misery and never watch this. This is so dramatic. It's like, dude, I don't really recommend this movie to everybody. Because I don't think that everybody's going to connect with it or like the stylistic choices in it that I enjoyed, you know?
Right.
Because I'm a big, like, you know, if you're going to be self-indulgent, style over substance, I'm with you, you know? Mm-hmm. That's why I like Neon Demon so much, even though, like, I don't recommend that movie to anybody because I'm just like, I can't imagine anyone would like it as much as I do because I'm a dork for that stuff. But anyway.
I like it.
Read us the next one, man.
Okay. This comes from Awake and Aware and a bunch of numbers from the UK. It says, if you liked the Death Note anime or live-action series, you will not like this. If you didn't like the Death Note anime or live-action series, then there's a good chance you may like this. Death Note is not meant to be turned into a movie, as the Japanese movies prove. 1 star.
1 star. Yes, all of these are 1-star reviews. Oh, my God.
He's right. His second sentence is right. But I haven't seen the original, so.
Right. Oh my God. And the existence of the manga somehow proves that it should never be adapted into anything else. It blows my mind. Anyway, this next one is from Ashes Dibyuk.
Didyba.
Didyba? Ashizdi? Okay. They don't even list their country, so fuck them. The movie was awful. It was like
Bukkake.
Oh.
Ashidi Bukkake.
Well, now I get it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. This movie was awful. It was like watching a mix between Twilight and Final Destination. Being a fan of the anime series, I was skeptical about watching the film, but decided to go through with it anyway. And then they give a 4-point thing about this is now this is typical of the type of complaints that people are lodging at this movie. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Number 1, Misa, or as they call her in this movie, Maya, was more obsessed with the Death Note than Light and ultimately chose the Death Note over him. This is a complaint. 2, Light was an emo who got bullied, not a perfect person who viewed himself as a god. Like, what? I don't even know if I understand that sentence. And I saw the movie.
Yeah, she's saying that he thought he was a perfect person who viewed himself as a god in his movie.
I guess.
When he got picked on in the beginning. But go on.
I don't know. L was too emotional. He jumped to conclusions, was violent, and was overall off-putting. Maya, in quotes, because you can hear her going, Maya is able to write in the Death Note, touch the Death Note, yet she does not see Ryuk. Like, these are the complaints that you have. Like, these are what you call fanboy, petty nitpicking. Sit down.
This is why the candidate you chose didn't win. This is why. Because you didn't do it. You didn't vote. That's why. Because you're writing this about Death Note.
Right. You people should have been out voting. Look what you've done to America.
Look what you did. You did this. Damn you.
Oh my God.
Can I just say I cannot wait for the Schwarzenegger movie that Taron Killam made?
Oh, dude, that
Gunther.
looks awesome.
I cannot wait.
What's it called? Killing Gunther?
Gunther.
Oh my God. If you haven't seen that trailer, watch it now. That trailer was good.
But it's not going to be good as Killing Roanoke, the original. No, it's not. It's not a remake. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God. So anyway.
All right. Worst production of Netflix. This is from Redwan Islam Redu from Bangladesh. Redu. His name is Redu. He must like Redus.
Dude, try and stay away from the offensive accents on this one.
I'm not accenting it. This is hands down. I hate that anymore.
What?
Hands down. Motherfucker, keep your hands up. Whenever people say that, whenever I hear that shit, I just picture somebody standing there and putting their hands down and looking at you, and I'm like, I want to smack you. I hate that.
That's like when people say, we'll handle everything from soup to nuts. What? Dude, I need a floor put down. Can you do it? Like, what?
Or I was pleasantly surprised. Oh. It's like, I'm going to watch this movie. Oh my God, I'm so pleasantly surprised. And they start floating in their fucking theater chair. Motherfuckers.
Little balloon pops up and flowers.
This is hands down, then back up my butthole. The worst production of Netflix so far. They took the concept from the source material, but turned it everything opposite. And awful acting, script, characterization were final nail in the coffin.
Now hang on.
That's a sentence.
The dude wrote a sentence that was so grammatically impure, and yet he is saying that the script was bad.
Let's analyze Red One stuff here. Red One.
This is hands down the worst review.
They took the concept from the source material, but turned it everything opposite, and awful acting, comma, script, period, characterization were final nail in the coffin. The show had nothing to offer, boring as soon as it started, and got worse with the course of time. Because most of the time when you're watching a movie, there's no course of time and time freezes. This movie's existence is a mystery. That's all.
Dude, I almost feel like if you're gonna write a shitty review that doesn't even like have proper grammar or make sense, you shouldn't write it. But I mean, I guess the guy's from Bangladesh. Maybe it made sense in his language. Okay.
We'll do a couple more of these.
I know. I can't. I'm already like losing it. This one's from Imanemi. That's how it's spelled. From Morocco. I am writing this to stop all those who like the anime from watching this, what I consider not a movie but garbage. First of all, Light in this adaptation wasn't smart. And I'm skipping some spoilers. I won't forget the scenario that's horribly written and the horrible acting. And then in parentheses, the first time they meet Ryuk, for example. I think it would have been better if there weren't just rushing scenes, if they took enough time to make a complete story. What? Dude, take a breath. They would have clarified a lot of things if it made this into a TV show. I gave it 1 star, and I wish I could give it less, cuz C-U-Z, cuz even if it was a separate movie that has nothing to do with Death Note, I don't think that any of you would ever like it. Okay?
You could... Melody Songfleur says you can rename this movie Final Destination 6 and no one would know. This is probably the worst TV to movie adaptation out there, and I watched The Last Airbender. Tried too hard to be edgy, and just turned into a Final Destination ripoff with bad effects, choppy editing, and a death god who looked more like a burn victim. The characterization and motives were all awful and completely wrong, and the stupid twists were cheap and predictable. Just do not waste your time. And also see my best friend's review. He has a link. Let's see what it says.
Carpet Day!
I'm kidding. It doesn't say that.
But that was for me. Next up, this is the final one because I can't stand any more of these.
Yeah, me neither. I'm getting
Jay Menendez, bunch of numbers from the United States. I understand that movies can have different plots and endings than the original anime/book, but this one stripped the entire essence of what was so great about Death Note. The characters are not at all how they are in the series. Light was a stud, smart, a sociopath genius who could manipulate and outsmart anyone with his unwaverable goal to be a god. L is almost autistic and incredibly smart, not emotional. He was logical and to the point. Maya is a groupie, fangirl with Light, a celebrity on her own, but would never try to kill, unless ordered by Kira to carry out his true goal of being God for as long as possible and destroying everything in his way. The scene where Ryuk appears makes me want to puke. It's so bad. His relationship with Light is far from what we see in the series. The plot is plain stupid.
It makes me want to Ryuk.
Yes, Ryuk is the name of vomit. It is mostly about him and his fighting, whether they took it too far for him and being dumb enough to know his girlfriend didn't take the book and kill some cops. What? That sentence got weird. I hate this movie so much and so mad I spent whatever time I spent watching it because it is not even worth 5 minutes. Whoever made this should be ashamed of themselves and never produce a movie again. And like in reading this review, I realized more about like how the original must have been a weird Japanese story and they turned it into an adaptation that would, wow more audiences than your fucking anime. I don't care about your fucking anime is what I'm saying. And people, you can hate Jack and Nick in our review of this if you want, because we don't care about your fucking anime. I'll tell you. Can I tell you the 3 anime series I truly enjoy? There are only 3 that I truly enjoy. There's other ones that I've given a chance to, that I've watched, whatever. Here they are, the 3 that I actually enjoy. Trigun, Cowboy Bebop, and a recent one, I like One Punch Man. One Punch Man is funny, and I enjoy it.
Never heard of it, but hey,
dude, you know what? That is actually
I probably won't watch it. But
see, you know what's funny is like One Punch Man is an anime that I can recommend to people. Like even like you, if you watched it, you'd think it was fucking funny because it's a deconstruction of like ridiculous, overpowered superheroes and anime characters and stuff. It's it almost reminded me more of like the animated TV shows of the mid 90s that were on like MTV, like The Head and the Max. Like that's it's just weird. It's not like weird in a gory way, but it's funny in a dumb way, and that's what's good. So let's move on. What are we doing now? How are we going to round out this show?
We're going to catch up.
Oh my. And it's been a while.
It's been a while.
No.
I hate that song. Welcome to Catch Up. Nick. What have you seen?
Yeah, we're going to talk about some of the movies that we've seen. Most of mine are junk I've watched on Netflix that's about 80 minutes long. So we'll start with the one that I've enjoyed the most. The Eyes of My Mother. Have you seen this movie?
No, I haven't, but I haven't watched it yet.
Have you heard the buzz and
I heard
all
that it's people are calling it a masterpiece.
Oh my, masterpiece. Man, I enjoyed it a hell of a lot. I would not call it a masterpiece. I thought it was weird, and it is the closest that you can come to having no plot that I could possibly watch in a movie. But it was really, really weird. Had a lot of weird stuff going on in it that like basically I can't even tell you much of what happens in it because like anything I tell you about it would like destroy so much of the movie for you when you actually watch it because it's like very unpredictable. It's told in 3 acts. It's black and white, not because it's old, but because it was a stylistic choice of the movie makers. And there might be some people eating in it. And there's not, like, even beyond that. Oh, well, like, if I tell you anything about the movie, it's just going to ruin it for you.
Then don't ruin it.
Okay, fine. It's kind of, there's elements of revenge. Mm-hmm. There's elements of psychosis. And there's no heroes. And that's why it's a good movie. So I would say The Eyes of My Mother. It's on Netflix, 80 minutes long. Go watch it. That's what I have to say about The Eyes of My Mother. Okay. Is there anything that you've watched that's around 80 minutes long?
Yeah, but I haven't finished it. I think it's 1 hour and 32, but that's close enough. It's a little evil.
Ooh, I also saw I saw about an hour of this movie. I did not finish it.
Me neither.
I will tell you. You didn't finish it?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Yeah, like, okay, so this is directed by the guy that made Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Yep.
Who's also the same guy who directed the TV show of Zombieland that didn't work out.
Oh yeah, the pilot for an Amazon TV show that never made it past pilot.
Yeah. So the last thing that he did was Tucker and Dale versus Evil. And, you know, watching this movie made me realize something. What's his name? Adam... The main dude.
Adam Scott.
Adam Scott cannot carry a movie. He is not a lead actor because he's boring. He is a boring actor.
Yeah, he's a good supplemental cast member. He's a good
supplemental. He's funny on like Parks and Rec. Krampus he was good in because it's an ensemble piece. Right. But if he's your driving force of a movie, it's kind of like watching and he plays a stepdad in it. The stepdad who's trying to be nice.
Right.
And he's just not working out. That's how he comes off. But the movie is not... I was expecting it to be somewhat enjoyable, and it is in a sense, but it feels, again, like another horror comedy indie movie that just doesn't go where it should. It's just on autopilot, and the jokes are... Oh, here are two that come to mind. This is why...
Well, hang on, you should say what it is. It's a parody of The Omen.
It's a parody of The Omen, but it's not
There you go.
really a parody of The Omen, because this movie would have worked 20 years ago. It doesn't work now, only because it's not... It's like an old joke. And like Tucker and Dale worked well because it was original, smart, and funny, and it was gory. This one, I haven't gotten, and I heard the third act ramps up the humor and horror, which is great, cool, but it shouldn't take an hour to get to it. I gotta say that, well, yeah, whatever. I'm just thinking, well, people say, well, other movies you like to take forever. No, you like those, and like I already can hear the complaints, but two jokes that don't work out in this, and this is a huge issue I have with horror comedies or comedies in general. Line is, there's nothing good can come out of being in a cornfield. And then the other person says, well, Field of Dreams. Because that's funny. Because, you see, Field of Dreams was a movie, and good things came out of the cornfield.
Dude, no joke. Every joke in the movie is that lame of a dad joke.
Yeah, and another one is, oh, okay, so you don't want us to kill your son? No. All right, well, we have to find the Keymaster. He'll be able to help us. Really? Well, let's go find him. Didn't you ever see Ghostbusters? There's no such thing as a Keymaster. I totally made that up.
Dude, yeah, that was the point where I rolled my eyes in my brain, rolled so hard I hurt my neck.
Yeah, that's
like, dude.
That's when I said I'm done. I checked out right after that happened.
Dude, it's a bad indie script when jokes like that are left in a movie that are like referencing Ghostbusters, referencing fucking Star Wars, referencing nerd shit that just like is not doing it well. It's doing it in a way that's like, guys, see, I'm a nerd too. I wrote this movie. Wink. It's like giving the nerd wink in a way that like there will be somebody out there who's not as smart as Nick and Jack, and they're going to watch that movie and they're going to go, ha, they made a Ghostbusters joke. Let's keep watching. And I'm not saying that all Ghostbusters jokes are bad. I'm saying like, if you're going to make a reference, don't knock somebody over the head with your goddamn reference. Make it so that it's sort of subtle, that some people might catch it, and the people who will go, ding, that's clever. Right. Not fucking like, haha, Ghostbusters, And like,
You know what it is? It's human behavior 101, where you're watching a movie that you can't wait for your significant other to watch, and that person is watching it with you, and they're not enjoying it, so you're trying to make them enjoy it by going, haha, that's like Brian. And they're like, oh yeah. And then the next one is, oh my god, look, McDonald's. They're eating McDonald's.
My god.
And then the significant other is like, yeah, I see that.
It was really like a sitcom level of humor, and I tapped out.
That's not right. Sitcoms are funny sometimes.
I was about an hour into the movie, and I said to my wife, who I was watching it with, I was like, all right, I've been watching this movie for almost an hour, and it's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's just, I was like, I have not laughed at a single thing in this whole movie. And she was like, yeah, I actually fell asleep. So
I did too.
That was when we turned it off. Like, I was just like...
No, like, what you said to your wife was, hey, this is our son. It's our son, you get it? Because he's the son of Satan.
See, because our son's so the devil too. Oh, imagine being those parents. Wacky. No, I could. So, like, Little Evil, it kind of reminded me of, like, the movie Hell Baby from a couple of years ago, which was directed by David Wayne and had, Ben Garant and Tom Lennon, not John Lennon, Tom Lennon from The State.
Even felt like Bad Milo, too.
Bad Milo. Yeah. Another one with Snake Eyes in it.
They're just
Right, and those movies, I wasn't a big fan of either of those movies, but both of them went way further in the departments that you have to if you're not going to be that funny, which is gore and nudity.
Right, they're just,
you have to make it feel more like a ridiculous horror movie that you're taking the piss out of.
They're still boring and just on autopilot. And it's like, oh, here's all of my friends that are in this movie, and we're all funny people, and we all ad-lib. Ha Look, there's that one from that movie that you saw with that one over there. You know what movie's better than this? And it has nothing to do with horror? Neighbors. Neighbors with Seth Rogen and Zac Efron is so much funnier than this movie.
I never saw it. I have no idea.
You should watch it. It's actually really funny.
And Adam Scott, man, he's like that guy who shows up in a movie, and when he shows up in a movie, you're like, oh, he's good. But watching him in his own movie is just like painful. It's the same thing with like Jason Bateman. I feel like I can't watch him carry it. But like in Arrested Development, he's wonderful because there's like a million people propping him up. Apparently, he's very good in Ozark. Same
thing if you get what's his name, BJ Novak, and put him in a movie. You'd be like, fuck this movie. I don't want to see that. No way. That guy's boring.
God, I'm getting mad at it just thinking. Anyway, yes.
What else did you say?
Little Evil was next on my list, but I'm going to skip that one because we just talked about it and move on to another 80-minute long travesty that I watched on Netflix. And this one I actually made it through. Now, think about it. Little Evil, I did not make it through. This movie, The Axe Murders of Villisca.
I saw it too.
Dude, I saw that title and I was like, add to list. That's a good title. I wonder what it's going to be. Some sort of period piece about people getting, axe murdered in some like Spanish conquistador town in a period piece. Like I thought it was going to be something weird like that. And instead it's a movie where these kids who want to be paranormal investigators break into their local haunted place. It's like a haunted historical building, and then they like axe murder each other, and that's the whole movie. And it's really poor and stupid. But I watched it. I was like, you know what? I'll watch this. And it was really stupid, and I regret doing it. How do you feel about the Axe Murders of Villisca?
So I also watched. I'm skip. I don't care. They didn't care. I don't care.
That's exactly how it was. No one cared.
It really seemed like that. I mean, I'm sure they cared because they made a movie, but it really.
So our recommendation is exactly what you're doing. Skip it.
It's another one with criminals as the leads, as the lead characters that nobody can identify
criminals.
With.
Yeah. And it's like, why would I want to watch a movie and cheer for the douchebags when they're not even like funny or have a heart of gold?
I mean, how many people out there have broken into houses? Can you identify with these people? No, you can't. Right. The only ones that are going to identify with those movies are the ones that are stealing your movies or bootlegging your movies and watching it and going, "Yep, I just robbed the fucking convenience store. This is us." And they're getting away with it. So let's stop doing that. Start making characters that people can, regular people that aren't criminals can identify with. Unless you really think that the people watching your movies are criminals. End of rant. So I also watched... I watched something not really horror related. And then not really horror related, but it has a horror element to it. And you're gonna crack up. I watched Dolomite and the Hormone Tornado.
The what? That sounded like a delicious Mexican dish.
The Human Tornado.
Oh.
The Dolomite movies. What's out? And have you ever seen any of Dolomites?
No, I'm barely even aware of Dolomite. Some blaxploitation thing, right?
Yeah, have you ever seen, you've seen Black Dynamite?
No, I actually still haven't, even though I've had 5 years to see it, but I know what it is.
Sorry. I love the Dolomite movies. They're, I love blaxploitation movies so much. And I'll just this. Dolomite is like the Black Tommy Wiseau. He is. He's the Black Tommy Wiseau, except he's a better actor. He can't act his way out of a paper bag. But the funny thing is that Human Tornado, guess who is also in the movie? Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
Yes, Ghostbusters. Yes, isn't that funny? Ghostbusters.
My
but yeah,
God.
Man, Nick, we gotta have a Dolomite marathon.
Yep, I'm watching the trailer right now. It looks so excellent. I can't even contain it.
I finally got the Blu-rays from Vinegar Syndrome, and because I've been wanting to see them, I love blaxploitation movies, Three the Hard Way, etc. But Dolomite movies I never got to see. Like, they were just never available at the video stores I went to, and I could never see them on TV. And I'm not going to download shit illegally, nor am I going to buy the really bad DVD quality movies. So yeah, check out Human Tornado. Ramps it up quite a bit, but
oh my God, this one looks excellent.
It's so good. So don't worry, I'm gonna get back to horror. But go ahead, Nick. What else did you see?
Okay, I have two things that are not movies that are totally horror related that I want to talk about briefly, kids. So buckle in. Next up, The Bunker. Now, what this is it's an interactive movie video game. Basically, it's on Xbox, it's on PS4, I think it's on Steam, and it's like a point and click adventure. You know, like those old games that used to be on the computer where like you have to search around in the room and point at different things and click at it. It's about a dude in a nuclear fallout shelter, and only him and his mom are the last two survivors. And it's like 30 years after the bombs fell, right? And it's not if it was a movie, it would probably be kind of boring and not particularly exciting. But as a video game, it's kind of just like a fun, like I said, it's like a point and click adventure, but also a little bit like an interactive movie, like you'd kind of get in the full motion video game days back in the 90s. And also it's kind of a bit of a walking simulator if you've ever played games that are called walking simulators. Yeah. I didn't think it was terrible. It's not very good, but especially as like I said, if this was a movie, it would be like a once and done thing. You'd never want to see it again. It's not that great. But it's I bought it for $6. It was on sale at the time. I think the regular price is $12.99. I'd say if it's on sale and it's $6, it's kind of a fun way to spend like 2 or 3 hours messing around in this fallout shelter, especially if you picture it. In my brain, I was like, okay, let's just pretend that this is a Fallout spinoff, and you're playing it for 2 hours. There's like no problem in the world with that, you know? I think it was actually like closer to like no, it must have been, I played it in one sitting, so it must have been like 2.5 to 3 hours. Wow. And it's just the story, like you find out all this weird stuff that went on in the bunker in the past 30 years. And it's kind of, they said it was a horror movie, but it's almost more like a psychological thriller that has like weird elements to it. And the movie part of it is kind of silly, but if you just kind of enjoy that sort of like, I don't know, watch the trailer for it and decide if you want it and buy it maybe. But I'm telling you, I enjoyed it and I thought it was okay. I don't think it's something that I would recommend to somebody who only plays like Call of Duty games or something. It's more of a slow-paced, fun thing that you can spend like how much do you spend on like renting a movie anyway? You know what I mean? Right. So at least that one you can play and get all the achievements in just a couple of hours. It was all right. So I didn't totally hate it. They have another one on there from the same company, and it's called, I think, Late Shift, and that one is more of like action movie, but I don't know. They're so poorly acted that it's kind of like funny to watch. So, but I don't know. I'm a weirdo. I just like things like that.
That kind of reminds me of Night Trap, which I also got on the PlayStation.
Oh man, it didn't come out on Xbox, and I'm so mad. I know. Did you see that they even put it on disc?
Yeah, I did.
This company called Limited Run Games released it.
Freaking way am I going to buy that for that much money?
Yeah.
Because Night Trap, it's good for nostalgic reasons. The cool part about it is it includes another game that once you beat Night Trap, you open up the other game that they made.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it also has behind the scenes documentary. And when you also beat the game, it shows you the entire movie that they made for Night Trap.
Oh.
Which is
That's
cool.
so fun.
Yeah, I mean, I loved Night Trap. I beat it when I had Sega CD. I can't figure it out on PlayStation still. I don't know what the fuck to do. But I got that. And have you ever played Outpost?
Outpost? No. What is it?
You remember Grave Encounters?
Yeah. Are you talking about Outlast?
No, I thought it was Outpost. Let me check.
Okay.
Hang on. Stand by, listeners. Do 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 do. Maybe it is Outlast.
Yeah, look up Outlast.
Yeah,
Outlast 1 and 2.
Outlast, yeah. Sorry, John.
I have it on Xbox. I got it when it was free like a year ago.
Yeah.
I still have not gotten to it, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
So when you start the game, you're in your car pulling up to a rundown insane asylum.
Yeah.
All by yourself. And I'm going to tell you this. This is the first time I tried it. I'm not playing it for a while because I jumped out of my fucking couch, man. It's scary as shit.
Oh, man.
I said to myself when I was playing it, thank God I don't have PSVR. Because if I was playing this game PSVR, I'd be in the hospital. Fucking heart condition.
Dude, yeah.
It was scary as shit. It has jump scares, which are cheap, like Five Nights at Freddy. But they just show up when you're turning a fucking corner, and it's like, you know what? No.
Dude, this is my problem with like a lot of the modern horror games. The reason I don't play them is because I don't want to have like problems when I go to sleep. And like horror video games will scare me more than a movie ever would. I'm only afraid in a movie if there's fucking aliens, gray aliens with big eyes and big heads. But like with video games, it's like I have Alien. The one Alien, what's it to be alone? Alien Isolation on Xbox One. I've had it for months. Haven't gotten to it yet because I'm like, oh, I don't know if my heart's ready for that. When am I going to play it? And I only play video games at night after my son's asleep. So when do I have time to fit this stuff in? Like I beat Resident Evil 0 in June. Like the HD remake of it, and I would like totally enjoyed going back and playing this old school Resident Evil game. And at the same time, I was like, man, I don't want to go to bed thinking about zombies because then there's going to be zombie dreams in my head. Why? So like I had to work it around my schedule a little. Not that game's not even that scary though. When you're talking about like Outlast or Alien or the other ones out there like that, it's just like I can't right now. Resident Evil 7 is another one that's like I totally want to play it, but I have to be in the right mindset because I don't want nightmares.
That's the same, that I'm telling you, I'm not going to give PSVR anytime soon until they come down in price and it's a lot cheaper, or there's a lot more stuff available, and it doesn't have like 20,000 contraptions that you have to plug into each other. The horror video games for it though look fantastic. Especially they have the Until Dawn roller coaster game. It's like the horror theme park. You know those little horror rides that you get in a little cart and it goes through the little thing.
Mm-hmm. The Geisterbahn.
Yeah, they got that for Until Dawn, where you gotta like you go through these little horror vignettes and have to shoot things and stuff. Speaking of, I know you're not a big Deadpool fan, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
I know this is turning into a video game, but hey,
video game, comic books, nerd stuff, anime.
But hey,
What's
I can't move my couch for like a month, so
right.
I got the Deadpool game because it was $15.
Yeah, I've heard it's real good.
It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible, and you actually get to go through hell. Like,
man,
you get to travel through hell and work with death and stuff, and it's funny as hell. It's actually at times funnier than the movie was even funny. And there's a whole sequence in hell where it's the Deadpool ride, where you're in a little boat with the little shooter, and it's a carnival, and you're shooting all these girls holding up signs going, "Oh, Deadpool, Deadpool."
This is ridiculous.
It's like a giant, like Roger Rabbit type. It's imagine cardboard versions of Toontown, where you're trying to shoot everything.
Oh my god, dude! I have to play this game.
It's so fucking good.
I wanted to play it. I wanted to play it.
So good. It's so good.
I'll get to it. I have so many on my list, and now that one just went up. There's like 100 games I want to play.
And he makes fun of video games. Like, you know how the movie breaks the fourth wall, and so does the comic and all that kind of. This breaks the fourth wall of video games.
Yeah, I'm not
going to ruin the jokes for you, so that's all I'm going to say. So, and it does it in a very smart manner. Where,
man,
you know how when you're playing games and you get bored with something, they know that you're bored with it, so therefore they go around it.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to play it in this life because I've got like 90 other Xbox games to play before it in no time.
I beat it. Dude, I fucking beat it in like 3 days.
I'll probably play it and beat it soon. Dude, I played Doom. Doom is another horror game I played, or horror type game, and it was the same thing. Like some nights I was like, I don't know if I can do Doom tonight. And that one's not even that scary. It's just so fucking intense.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Do you have a movie you'd like to talk about?
I do. I'm almost done, and the show's almost.
Yeah, the show's long done.
Long done.
Long done with Jack and Nick. What's up, Long Done Society? We talk about steaks here.
There's speaking of Vinegar Syndrome, they released finally released a Snapshot, which was also called The Day After Halloween, which they billed as a slasher movie. It's an Australian movie. It has nothing to do with Halloween. I'm just putting it out there. A lot of people know this already. The name Snapshot works really well for it. It's my first time watching it, and I have to say that it feels like a Australian TV movie about a model until the last 5 minutes. Then it's not. That's all I'm going to say. It really is not a horror movie at all until the last 5 minutes. And then it's a horror movie. And then you're like, oh, that's what we came here for. I still enjoyed it, but if you're really thinking that you're going to see this rare, obscure slasher movie, I wasn't expecting that because I went into it knowing this. I'm just forewarning you. Be prepared to sit around and watch a character movie. That's all I'm going to say. I enjoyed it. It's if you're into that sort of thing.
And what was the name of that one again?
Snapshot.
Snapshot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They called it The Day After Halloween because they released it after Halloween to get money from the dumb American people.
Right.
And it didn't work out so well.
So, man, I have another non-movie to talk about. This one is totally a horror thing that horror fans want to hear my opinion about, though.
Okay.
American Horror Story Cult. The show started this past week.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. I don't have TV.
Oh, it was balls.
Meaning
Super
that,
balls, dude.
Meaning that it has balls?
Oh my god, dude! It was. Let me tell you how cringe-inducing it was. Okay, so it takes place in modern day, unlike some of the previous seasons. And when I say modern day, I mean it starts on November 3rd or whatever, 2017, 16. When the hell was the election? That's when. November last year. It starts with Trump winning the election, right? Mm-hmm. And it shows like the various people who will be characters of the series over dramatically reacting to it. Either like crying and being like, what will happen to America? Or like over dramatically being like a crazy metalhead loner dude who's like, yes, Pepe wins, Pepe the Frog, you know, like, and then the show, I mean, just like the dialogue and words that come out of the characters' mouths make you want to stab yourself in the fucking eyeballs. Like this, sorry, we don't normally curse like that on this show, do we? We only throw in fucks every now and then, but this show, it was so bad. It's like, imagine the worst things you have to read on Facebook written by your idiot friends and your idiot family members who have no concept of how bad they are, writing stuff that then gets turned into a script for a horror show that also features a pack of roving killer clowns for no reason. Man, I definitely I don't even know. Like, I'm pretty sure I said it all right in that sentence. It's Facebook posts turned into a script. And, like, I checked on Twitter, and I was like, oh, I bet America hates this one. And, of course, everybody was like, oh, man, killer clowns, woo-hoo-woo. And it's like, if you're so stupid that you thought that was good, I hate you. I hate you. Oh, my God, it was so cringe-inducing. Especially, I bet if you were someone who felt more politically inclined either to the right or left, you would give a fuck. But someone like you or I, we're rather apolitical and don't like anyone. Like, watching it was like just I like every analogy I come up with is like, it was like when you're sick and you're throwing up, but you can't get out of the bathroom in time to then re-enter and throw up. Like, it's like that. It was like, and I think I heard the whole episode. I was working on the computer while my wife watched it, and it was just like, I can't believe this show jumped the shark so hard that the shark that jumped over the show had such wind power it took off and became its own Sharknado. Don't watch it. What else you got to talk about, or are we done?
I think we're done. I think we went on too many rants.
Oh, good night, everybody. We went on too many rants where we were totally praising one movie wholeheartedly.
Yeah, we really are. I mean, you know, if you don't agree with us, if you agree with us, whatever, write to us. Tell us stuff. You're Nick at New Jersey Nick on Twitter. Nick.
Absolutely, that's the best way to get a hold of me.
And I'm at Jacob K666. You know what? It's funny. You can't really. If I don't respond to you on Twitter, it's not because I'm ignoring you. My notifications just won't push through on my iPhone for some reason. So
nice.
Yeah, I get the other ones about this one, like this tweet.
No, that's the worst.
I hate that shit.
Also, you can follow the show at Jack Nick Horror Show, and then you'll know whenever we post something to YouTube or the other places we post it, Stitcher, iTunes, all that shit. So keep up with us, guys. Come and tell us if you think that there's anything that you'd like to hear more of from this show. Please tell us. We always need to be like told, because otherwise we're just going to do what we like and hope and pray that you like it too. But
yeah, if you didn't like this show, you say, hey guys, can you stop giving us your soapbox bullshit? And we'll say, okay, and then we'll give you soapbox bullshit again because we know you like it.
Yep. So thanks, guys.
And girls, sexist.
Thanks for just sticking with us. It's cool of you to do so.
Yes.
And maybe one day you could drop us a review that says, hey, these guys only moderately suck.
Right.
Thanks.
Hey, I have my own review about that old show we used to do. It's coming up on a future episode.
Oh, God.
Check and make sure.
Good night.
All right, later.